Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's had a good evening. I know in the last couple of videos I've sort of hinted around that I'm heading out to California and Las Vegas. Well, Las Vegas first for 2 weeks and California for one. And then in between those trips, I'll probably be driving. Well, maybe not myself, but my brother is going to be driving me from Las Vegas to California. So yeah, I guess the first 2 weeks, and I know I just did a recent Area 51 video. I'm trying to remember to look at this camera because I mean I didn't buy the new iPad that had the camera up in the top here, right here, and if I look straight at the screen, it looks like I'm looking over to the side. So I need to start looking at this side. You know, now that I'm getting this new gig, hopefully maybe I can get a better iPad and move it over. So yeah, I'm regressing here. So yeah, the first 2 weeks I'm going to be in Las Vegas, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably it's pretty firm now that I'm going to be leaving on Sunday afternoon, this coming Sunday, 6/4. And I'll be arriving that evening in Las Vegas at the Harry Reid National Airport or whatever. And yeah, and Harry Reid, I mean, you know, he was a Democrat. I think he was Speaker of the House at one time, but he's actually, when it comes to the whole Area 51, the whole UFO thing, Harry Reid was a big player in the UFO cover-up out there. He was a senator, Senator Harry Reid from Nevada. I'm assuming well, there's 2 senators per state, so he was, I think, the senator for the Las Vegas, the lower half of the state probably. I don't know what the senatorial districts look like, but he was big when, like, back in the 90s when it came to the like the Phoenix Lights, which I know that's not Nevada, that's Arizona, but when it came to the Phoenix Lights, when it came to a lot of the big UFO stuff, he was a very big proponent of investigating and getting the information out there. And he passed away. He passed on to the next realm here. I want to say it was like during COVID, but let me see. When did Harry Reid die? I guess he's died long enough ago to where they named an airport after him. So yeah, he was, according to Wikipedia. Okay, so he died not this past year, 2022, but he died on December 28th of 2021. So he was pretty old. He was born back in the 30s, late 30s, December 2nd of 1939 to 21. So he's a pretty old dude. And he was in office. He was, yeah, Senate Minority Leader under McConnell and stuff during the Trump administration. He was chief of the Senate Democratic Caucus, the Senate Minority Whip. He's been in office like for a long time, back into the 90s, 80s, early 80s. Member of the, he was one of the ones. He was actually a member of the House, the U.S. House of Representatives as well, for Nevada's 1st District back in 83, 87. And he's one of the few that like has gone up from being a House member to a Senate member and then making it to the top of that. And then even before that, back in the 70s, he was like the chairman of the Nevada Gaming Commission. He was a lieutenant governor of Nevada. So, I mean, this guy, the only reason I'm going through this is because when it comes to the topics, the topic that I'm on here, which is like UFO and aliens, this guy's been in the know for a long time. He's obviously super well connected, being in office. I think his first office was member of the Nevada Assembly of the 4th District. Nevada, I don't know much about Nevada's politics, but I guess they have an assembly and they have different districts, obviously. He was in the 4th District from 1969, so that's back I mean, my dad, you know, my folks are like 74, and they were just getting out of like high school back. They were just out of high school back in '69. So he was already like a politician back then. So this guy's connected, you know, and he was a more moderate Democrat, but he was really passionate about the whole UFO thing. And after he left, office. Let's see, Senate Majority Leader. So he left office, I guess he was Senate Minority Leader up to 2017. So he only lasted maybe 4 more years after he got out of office. But in that time, he was pushing to get information released. And he had interviews with different people here on YouTube and stuff talking about the extraterrestrial topic. So Google that. I'm not going to get too much more into that. I always get off the point. DC entropy. I always go from order to chaos. Typical podcast here. But I even tried to write up some notes tonight of what I wanted to talk about. So I said, talk a little bit more about my trip out to Vegas. And then I said, I hope on the first weekend that I'm out there, I'm hoping I can get like a rental car, maybe on like a Friday night, Saturday, coming back on Sunday. I'm hoping I can maybe get a rental car and go out to Area 51, out to Rachel, Nevada. And the little alien, they have some like RV type trailers you can rent for like, back when I was there, it was like 20 bucks a night or 15, 20 bucks a night. They probably raised it, so it's probably 40 or 50 now with inflation and the popularity of the area. So, but regardless, that's still a pretty good price to stay out there and be able to sit outside of the little alien at the middle of the night. You never know who's going to come through, whether it's actually I guess it was my first trip out there in 2019. Literally the night before I came out, Leonard Skinner, the band, they were playing down in Vegas. This was August, I guess, late August of 2019. Leonard Skinner, their tour buses and the crew and everything, they stopped out there at the little alien, and I guess they had heard about it. With the whole Raid Area 51 event, they had, they decided to stop there, and I think they parked outside of the little alien like all night. But I want to say the owner who told me this story, I think they actually, once those buses pulled, they actually sort of opened back up for them. They were so excited to see Leonard Skinner, the band, in there. But if you just sit out there all night, if you rent a place, you never know who's going to come through. You might see a camo dude, the guards of Area 51, they might be getting off shift and right outside of Rachel, you got the Area 51 gates. They might be heading home wherever they're people too. The guards at Area 51 are just people just like me and you. So they have to go home at some point. I don't think everybody takes what they call the Janet flights, Janet, like the woman's name. I don't think everybody takes Janet flights in and out of Area 51. I think some of the guards are actually like locals around the base, depending on what side of the base that they guard, whether it's the northern side, eastern, western, southern. Maybe they just drive out of the base and they drive home, or drop off it's usually two of them in a car at any given time. So maybe they drop off one of them and the other one goes home, and next morning, the one who drives primarily picks up the other one, they head back to the base. But maybe they'll stop at the little alien and I'll meet like a camo dude, one of the guards. But then I know most of the contracted employees that are there, from what I've heard about on YouTube and stuff here, most of them fly in and out on the Janet flights. There's like a special terminal, like a classified terminal at Las Vegas Airport just for that flight. I think they have like 1 or 2 flights a day in and out. And then I think in and out for regular, for non-regular contractors, and then like a weekly flight for the ones that maybe like fly in on Monday morning and leave on Friday evening and come back home to Las Vegas or wherever they live nearby, you know, once a week, just a once a week flight. So I think that would be cool to like just, you know, I don't know, run into somebody. But then yeah, then looking at my notes again here in the next weekend, the second weekend I'll be in Vegas. I'll be working, you know, a day job thing while I'm out there. But on the second weekend, I guess my brother and I will be driving through Death Valley. So I'm gonna ask him if, I don't even know if he's been to these places, because these are places that I've only seen on YouTube. But you got on the Death Valley way, there's like an abandoned like amusement park, like an old water park from like the 70s or 80s and stuff. That would be maybe a cool place to stop at. And then there's a cool place called Zyzzx Road, Zyzzx Road. It's on the way on the I-15 from Las Vegas to Death Valley. I think that would be a cool place, because it's like a road that goes out a couple miles and then it like dead ends into like an old resort. It was like an old it's like spa and resort place in the desert back in like the 1970s, 80s, somewhere in that time period, where I guess well, the advertising line was they had like rejuvenating, like salt baths or whatever. It was like supposed to be a healing place or whatever. But I guess there was a bunch of legalities, and when it came to the land use and so on. So I think the guy who ran that or whatever got kicked out. But the place is still there. You know, it's not the full buildings of the original resort, but it's like the structures. There's like a big pool, like a sort of like a pool, like a reflecting type pool, sort of really long. And I think there's even at times they still even have fountains going in that and stuff. But then I think it was the University of Southern California maybe has some offices out there. So there still is activity, like legitimate civilized activity out there. I think it's like a desert research station for like the University of California. But so there are people there on and off, but it's still open to the public. You can drive down Zyzzx Road a couple miles. So I'm gonna, that's probably definitely one that I'm gonna ask my brother, because he told me about that road originally, and I don't know if he's been down there or not, but I definitely haven't, and I think it would be a good thing to record and put here on my YouTube. So, and then I'll be in California for another week, and out in Dana Point, just sort of south of like, I think like Anaheim, south of LA, and north of San Diego, somewhat in between. It's like, if you look on a map, it's like right across from like Catalina Island is like the Dana Point Marina. It's like, I think it's the biggest marina like on the West Coast or something like that. So, but, and then eventually, someday, I'd like to actually make it out to Catalina, whether I take a ferry, maybe take a day trip out there on a ferry. I don't know how long it takes, but maybe get up early, get on an early ferry, go out to Catalina, walk around. There's like a little town, or I think of maybe two little towns out there. Just hang out, have some food, you know, walk around, just, you know, and then hop back on the ferry and come back. So maybe that would be a good little weekend trip. You know, if it gets too late, maybe stay one night out there or something on a Saturday night or Friday night. So I'm gonna do my best to, you know, now that I'm expanding or broadening my horizon a little bit with this trip, I'm hoping to get some better footage, some footage that people might find more interesting than my garage, as you see. And then the few videos that I've done up in Ohio, where I used to live, up at that Boy Scout camp, and then the Blue Heron mining camp video that I did a month or so ago here in Kentucky. I mean, those are cool places too, but people tend to gravitate toward more populated areas like Las Vegas California. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting some good content and actually trying to hone my skills. I'm going to buy a little tripod, like a little gorilla, you know, what do they call them? The gorilla pods, to where I can, if I need to, I can wrap it around a tree or a pole and like record myself, or, you know, you can pull the arms out and stand it somewhere and I can walk, you know, try to be a professional looking YouTuber. So yeah, it'll take time. It'll take trial and error, but I think it'll be fun, and it'll be obviously a cool place to hone my skills in, outside of just where I live now. So, which, you know, I'll get to eventually, but I'm rambling. So yeah, I sent out the email to the place that I'll be doing some stuff for here this evening. So hopefully I'll hear back from them tomorrow, and get my travel and accommodations solidified. And hopefully I'll be, you know, the first video from my trip. I probably won't post any more here until then, but hopefully the first video of my trip will be, you know, heading to the airport, you know, taking off, you know, landing in Vegas, you know. I'll be landing in the afternoon, so it won't be a cool night shot like the one I put in one of my previous videos, like 2 videos ago. But, and then maybe some day-to-day stuff, maybe some restaurants, or I'm not going to get into my personal business or whatever out there, but maybe, you know, show some of the area I'm staying in, some of the cool restaurants, or any neat little site. I know we're close to where I'm staying is like the Raiders, like training area, the Las Vegas Raiders. So yeah, guess that's about it. I'll look at the camera. Everybody have a good night and peace out.